we're discussing the Kamavachara Manodara Vitis, right? Remember? We had 70 Chitakana Viti. We had Vitis. Among the Vitis, remember? We had Panchadvarika Vitis. How many Panchadvarika Vitis? 75, right? Yes. 75. And then we had Manodara Vitis. And then among the Manodara Vitis we had Kama Javanas, right? Or Kama Vachara. Kama Javanas Vitis. And we had Apana Vitis, right? Apana Vitis. So among the Kama Javana Vitis or Kama Vachara Vitis, we had, remember those that take 17 Chitakana, those that last 17 Chitakana. What is the object? Pachupana Rupas. Remember how many of these Rupas? 22, right? Pachupana, 22 Pachupana Rupas that last, that live 17 Chitakana. Remember? Okay. We called it group A, right? Objects. Then we had those that last less than 17 Chitakana, the VT. And the VT takes everything else, all else, as object, right? Group B objects. Then among the 17 Chitakana VTs, we had Vibhuta and Avibhuta, right? 5 Vibhuta and 2 Vibhutas, depending on when the object strikes. And those that less than 17 Chitakanas, we had 1 Vibhuta and 1 Avibhuta. So, for example, when we see an object with the eye, right? So, what Viti arises? Chakudvarika Viti, right? Chakudvarika Viti, one of these 75. If the object is clear, there is light, enough attention, Atimahanta object, right? Atimahanta Ramana Viti with the 14 Chittadas, right? Maybe we close the door, I think, for the Yarma. Okay, then, for example, after that Chakudvara Viti, what happens? After the Chakudvara Viti, when we see something, we have a Chakudvara Viti, right? Chakudvara Viti. We have Atita Bhavanga, remember? Then the object strikes Chalana Upacheda. Panchadvara Vajana, right? Chakku Vinyana, Sampatichana Santirana Votapana. And then we will have 7 Javanas and 2 Tadaramas. This is the Atimahantarama, and then it falls again into Bhava. Then after this Viti occurs, taking that present object, we'll have a Manodvara Viti that falls, remember? This is Anubandhaka Viti, right? Anubandhaka, you know, Anubandhaka, no? Anubandhaka Viti, it goes after the Panchadvara Viti. So this Panchadvara Viti happens, and then let's continue the mind stream. We will have several Bhavangas, of course, and then we will have again the stream of Bhavanga will stop, will interrupt, and we'll have a Manodvara Viti. See? Manodvara Viti, and then we have 7 Javanas. So now, do we have Tadaramana on this Viti or not? This Viti is taking this past object. No Tadaramanas, right? Yeah. No Tadaramanas here. And then Bhavanas. Okay. So this Viti over here is taking the present object. Present. And this Viti over here is taking the same object but now past object, right? Atita. Right? Instantly. So this viti that goes following the Chakradwara vitis or any of the Panchadwara vitis is the Anubandhaka. Anubandhaka. Anu, like following, no? Anubandhaka. Manodwara viti. Anubandhaka Manodwara viti. Okay? Then, what is the next step? What is the next step? This one, this VT takes the same object we took, the Rupa Ramana, takes it now only with the mind door. Okay. Now another VT will occur if we continue this lineage. Another VT will occur, another Manodwara VT, and it will take now, Now this 7 javanas, let's see. So the first VT from the Panchadwara takes the present object. Then the second takes the same object as a past object. Then the third VT will take as a nama panyati. We'll think of the name of that object. For example, we see a tree. We see the tree, then present object taking those Rupa Ramanas, right? Then the next VT, which is Anubandhaka, they will take this same object but now past, only with the mind door. Then the next VT will take the name of this object. So now it becomes a panyati. We start thinking about this object, right? It's not the object anymore, but we start now having deeper thoughts about it, thinking its name, its meaning, things like that, right? And so this VT, okay, 7 java, it takes panyati. Do you remember panyati if Tadaramana or not? Panyati has Tadaramana or not? Do you remember? Sankita. Panyati. Viti, Manodwara Viti, taking panyati as object. Nama panyati. Panyati, see? Nama panyati. You forgot? Okay, here. Here, you see? No Tadaramana, right? Look, Panchadwara Vitis are here. Okay. Then the first Anubandhaka, this first Anubandhaka, taking Atita, you see? Atita Rupa Ramana. What type of Viti is it? Samanodwara Viti. Is it Kama or Apana? Kama or Apana? Kama. And then among the Kamas we have 17 or less than 17 Chittakana. Which is it? Taking a past Rupa Ramana. Past Rupa Ramana is this one or this one? Less than 17. This one only takes present, right? Okay, so it's one of these. Now, among these, we have 7. Vibhuta or Avibhuta. So, among this, here, less than 17, we have these 2. Vibhuta or Avibhuta. So, it could be Vibhuta, it could be Avibhuta. Okay? Could be one of those, either Vibhuta or Avibhuta. So, Atita, if it's Atita, there could be Tadaramana. There could be a Tadaramana, right? If the Bhavanga is Kamavachara, if the object is Kamavachara, and if the Javanas are Kamavachara, then there could be a Tadaramana here, right? There could be or not, right? Then it will be Vibhuta or Avibhuta. What about this one? That follows later, taking Nama Panyati based on that object. Now it's not the Rupa Ramana anymore, it's just the name that you come up with based on that object. You see the tree, that's one thing, but when you think tree, okay? then this is already not the Chaku, the Rupa Ramana is already a name, it's a concept that the mind comes up with, right? So this Namapanyati, which Viti takes it? Manodara Viti, right? Kamma, must be Kamma. 17 or less than 17? Less than 17, yes. Panyati, right? Takes all other objects. You see? Group B objects, right? Okay, among group B objects, remember, we had those that have Vibhuta. This one has Tadaramana. Avibhuta has no Tadaramana. No Tadaramana. Remember this? If there is Tadaramana, then the object is limited to Kama Avachara. Kama Vachara. So among these VTs with 17 Chittakana, here is the same, okay? I just put it here. They take all other objects, but if there is Tadaramana, only Kama Vachara among all other objects. Remember this? Right? So, taking Namapanyati is all else, one of the all else. And we have with Tadaramana, take only Kamavachara objects. So this one, taking Panyati, must be Avibhuta, you see? Must be Avibhuta. No Tadaramana. So this is Bhavanga directly. This is Avibhuta. Yeah, not Kamavachara. Not Kamavachara. The Panyatis, remember, we classified all the Athas. Panyati is Lokya, but not Kamavachara. Is Lokya. Okay? So, after we think of it, the name of the object, then another Viti will arise later, a little later. Many of these will arise, right? Not just one, but now, here we have Manodwara Vajana, 7 Javanas, and this will think of the meaning of the object. So, Atha, the meaning of the object. Now, the meaning of the object, Atha, could be Hinatha, could be another concept, or it could be Paramata. Paramata. So, here, if it is Paramata or Hinata, let's think, for example, Atta, let's say it's Hinata, another Panyati, the meaning of the object you saw. You start thinking of a meaning, it's a concept. Okay? It's a Hinata. So which Viti will arise? Kama, Manodwara Viti, Kama Vachara Javanas, Kama Vachara Viti, 17 or less than 17, taking Panyati. Again, less than 17, right? With Tadaramana or without Tadaramana? Without Tadaramana, yes. So if we take another Hinata, then this, let's say there is 2 options. If we have Hinata, then no Tadaramana. If we take Paramata, what do you think? For example, we talk about Rupa. Then you will think about the name Rupa, that's a Panyati. But the name refers to something that exists, remember? Yes. You use the name to refer to something that actually exists. Vijamana Panyati. Right? Vijamana Panyati. So then your mind may pay attention to the Paramata itself based on that. The next Viti may take the Paramata itself as object. Then depending on the Paramata, it will be one of these Vitis, you see? Or else, for example, if it's a present object or maybe it's a past object, but it will be one of those. Probably less than 17 Chittakanas. And it could be Vibhuta if it's Kamavachara or Avibhuta if it's not, right? Okay. So, for example, there are some cases, for example, we discussed in class, some cases of what happens, for example, When you remember, we pay attention to the Mahacheti. Remember this discussion? For example, here we had some cases. Remember? I don't know if some of you were here. So if you recall, what happens if we remember something that we saw? Remember something that we saw. We saw something today. Then these vitis will occur, Chakudvarika vitis and the Anubandhakas, right? Then let's say later, on another day, we remember what we saw. Yes, past. So what viti you think will arise? It will be a manodvara viti, we are not seeing at that time, cannot be panchadvara. So it will be manodvarika viti, right? Now, what is the object of that manodvara viti? Past, if you have something you had seen, it's past ruparamana, right? Yes, past ruparamana. So it's a bit like this, you see? Taking a past object, even if it's many days later, for example, right? You just remember something you have seen. So your mind can take that past object, will be one of these vitis, you see? Like the second one. Then, another thing you can remember is the act of seeing. Instead of remembering what you saw, you remember the act itself of seeing. It's possible as well. Remember the act of seeing. Then what will be the object? If you remember later, then it will be a manodvara viti. Suddha manodvara viti, you know? Suddha manodvara viti. Suddha manodvara viti. Suddha is like just by itself, pure by itself, right? Suddha manodvara viti. For example, we take, remember the act of seeing, right? Then you'll have manodvara viti. Remember the act of seeing, 7 javanas. Let's see if we have tadaramanas or not. So if we take as object, let me put the object up here, the act of seeing. The act of seeing, in other words, is the Chakkuvinyana. You see? Chakkuvinyana as object. Chakkuvinyana as object. Past Chakkuvinyana, your own past Chakkuvinyana. Okay, the mind can take those objects, you see? You can either take the Chakkuvinyana itself or the entire Chakkudvarika viti as an object. The mind can take also several my moments as object at the same time. Okay? Collective realities as object, right? So, if we have the act of seeing, or let's say Chakkuvinyana as object, which viti will arise? Manodvara viti, right? It's a Kama Javana viti, right? Not Appana. And then 17 or less than 17. Taking Chakkuvinyana, past Chakkuvinyana as object. Less than 17, right? Take all else. Then among these we have with Tadaramana Vibhuta, without Tadaramana Avibhuta. Which one? Chakkuvinyana is Kamavachara or not? Without Tadaramana? Because past. But this one with Tadaramana also takes all past objects, you see? You understand, Sankitya? These vitis, 17 Chittakana, they take all other objects. So all the past objects are here. And on this viti, I had no space, so I put it here. We have with Tadaramana, you see? So Tadaramana may take past object. So just saying it's past is not enough to decide. Past could still be Tadaramana or could be without Tadaramana. So past Chakkuvinyana, is it Kamavachara? Chakkuvinyana, Kamavachara or not? Yes. Apana will take Panyati or Nibbana, or there is those two chittas he may take. Sorry? The Manodwara Vittis, you can divide them mainly in these two. Kamavachara or Apana. How to know? Okay. So the Apana Vittis, they have at least one Apana Chitta. At least one Apana Javana. Then it's an Apana Vittis. Apana Vitti. So that's how you decide. Then, if there are no apanas, then it's a kama javana. There's no other option, no? So if you're taking past Chakkuvinyana in this situation, it's not one of the apanas. You could be taking past Chakkuvinyana as an object of vipassana, for example. Then you could have a magga. Magga could arise, for example. Then it could be an apanaviti. But now in this situation, you're just remember the acting of seeing, finish. So none of the apanavitis. Today we'll discuss the apanavitis. So here, taking the act of seeing, Chakkuvinyana is Kamavachara, right? It's a Kamavachara chitta. Kamavachara. So there could be a Tadaramana or not. Both possibilities are okay. Do you understand? Do you follow? Here you have to maybe master this chart, you see? This chart is kind of important to decide what happens, what VT will arise. Okay, another situation, for example, when you worship the Mahachetiya from home, let's say we are here in the monastery, and we know the Mahachetiya is, I think, over there, right? And thinking of the Mahachetiya right now, we pay respect to the Mahachetiya, okay? Then what Vittis you think will occur? No Apana Vittis now, just Kamavachara Vittis. Yes, here the thing is that even though we are not now able to see the Mahacheti, we're not able to hear, we're not able to feel it, right? So you cannot take with Panchadwarika Vittis, right? The Mahacheti, those rupas. But with the Manodwara Vittis, you can take present rupas, even though you're not seeing it now. You understand? This is a little counterintuitive. Counterintuitive. Counter against, counter-intuitive. Yes. You are able to take present rupas of the Mahacheti only with your mind. Okay? Try to understand this idea. This is important. Later it has applications also in Vipassana as well. Do you understand? If you think of paying respect to the Mahachetiya now, then your mind at that time is taking present rupas. So it will be one of the 17 Chittakkana Vittis. So 17 Chittakkana Vittis not only arise by things that we are experiencing through the Panchadwaras. Do you understand? It can be just with the mind. Remember, Parisuddho? When we think of the Mahacheti, we pay respect to the Mahacheti. At that time, our mind takes present rupas of Mahacheti as object. Right? There was that situation, for example, someone is walking and you are not seeing them, and you pay attention to that person. You get angry at that person, for example. You're still taking the present rupas as object, even though you don't know who he is, who the person is. This is present rupas, yes. Not recalling, is present rupas. The mind's Manodwara Vittis take directly the present rupas as object, even though it's not nearby or it's not something you're experiencing with the five senses, with the Panchadwara, but you can still experience present objects directly with the Manodwara. So you think of the Mahacheti, you pay respect. You remember your teacher right now, somewhere in Laos or in Cambodia, and you pay respect or something, it's also the present objects you're taking. So, then you can think of, for example, the Mahacheti, you can think of a concept of Mahacheti, the name of Mahacheti. Then these will be concepts. Then it will be the different Viti taking the concepts, right?
When that Mahacheti it was
destroyed.
Or
he finished, or he destroyed. Then, you know the case with the metta? With the metta, no? There is some, it's not explained very well, Bhante said. It's not explained why, clearly, the mechanism, but if you want to do metta with an object, you need a living being, right? To do metta, right? Remember? Sattapanyati. But it's a sattapanyati that is based on real paramattas. If that person is not living, has died, for example, then you will not be able to develop it. This is, how does the mind know the object is not present anymore? This is not explained, you know? But there is some connection between the Manodwara Vittis, the mind, being able to take the present object. If it is not present, even though you may think it is present, this will not happen. Do you understand? Yeah, you are not aware. For example, let's say an old teacher, for example, and you remember him, and you do metta for him, right? If he is alive, then your mind will be taking, even though it's sattapanyati, it's based on realities that are existing now. Then that's enough to develop. Then the metta will develop. But if you do metta for him, you don't know he passed away, then it will not happen. It just explains it like that, but it's not explained like how or why clearly. There is some connection. There must be some connection. Your object must be living, must be present and living for this to occur. So, if you pay respect to the Mahacheti, but it has been destroyed yesterday, for example, then I think you will not take present objects. It will not happen like that. But it's a little counterintuitive. It's a little difficult to imagine this mechanism, and it's not very deeply explained, it seems, according to Bhante. Bhante. Virati Cetasikas.
They only take Paramattha, not take Panyati. This one
Paramattha.
Not very clear.
Vinyati. Virati Cetasikas.
Yes, only take the Paramattha. Like Apamanya only take Panyati.
Yes.
Only take
Paramattha. I think it's always related to to a real thing, to a real situation. For example, even though there are concepts involved, killing, there are concepts involved, for example, but killing is a real thing. It actually happens. The intention arises, the Jivitindriya exists, your actions end up destroying the Jivitindriya. So when you think of that situation and you decide to abstain from it, I will not do that, then it's paramatta, right? You're abstaining from those things that really exist. You're not abstaining from the concept of killing. You're not abstaining from the concept of stealing. You abstain from stealing, right? So those actions, they are based on paramatta. Those actions really exist, you know? The killing is not just a concept, but killing can be a concept. If you think of killing, what is killing and the word killing, all these things. But you abstain from the action itself. The action itself is the chetana, the rupas, the chittaja rupas, and the jivitindriya, or whatever object it is you steal, for example. These are all paramattas, real things, right? Even though we interpret the situation by using names, by using concepts, right? So it seems to make sense that you don't abstain from concepts, you abstain from actual realities, the realities involved in those actions. No? Okay, what if you remember or you recall piti, for example, past, remember some past cetasika. Remember my question last time? But my question was about jhana, for example, jhana factors. The piti that arose in the jhana. For example, you attain jhana, and you stay in jhana for half an hour. Then you emerge from that viti, very long viti, and then you can reflect on the jhana factors, reflect on the piti that arose, right? If it's the first jhana, the vitaka, vichara, the piti, sukha, ekagata, right? So when you take piti that arose, but only a normal happiness during a donation, for example, not during the jhana, then it's a kamavachara piti, right? And it's a past piti, right? So you'll take a kamavachara, it's past, so it's here. Kamavachara could be one of these two, you see? One of these two vitis. If it's the rupavachara, like the jhana piti, then it cannot have the tadaramana, right? Because tadaramana only takes kamavachara objects. Okay. So there are these situations like these vitis arise like that. For example, if you perceive the suffering of someone else, then your mind at that time is taking the dukkha vedana of that being. Kama. Yeah. Kama. Okay, so then we could say here there are four main causes for the arising of these manodvara vitis. You remember these four main causes? Four main causes. For what? For the arising of manodvara vitis. We had Dittavasena, Dittasambandha Vasena, Sutavasena, and Sutasambandha connected, some I think it's without H. Sambandha, Sambandhavasena. So these are four main causes. There are many others, but four main causes for the arising of those manodvara vitis. So basically they are, you could say in simple words, things that bring objects to your mind. situations, conditions that bring objects to your mind. So ditta vasena is when you see something directly or when you hear something directly, then the manodvara vittis that arise because of that object are ditta sambandha vasena. Are ditta vasena. So the basic situation when you see something, then the chakku dwarika vitti arises. Then the manodvara vitti arise because of what you saw. Those are ditta vasena. Okay? So ditta vasena is based or because of direct experience with the 5 dwaras. Yes, 5 dwaras, 5 sense dwaras. 5 dwara, pancha dwara, no? Then you may see something, for example, and that object that you see remembers you of something else. Okay? Then your mind will take now another object. That object is connected with what you saw, right? For example, we see, let's say you see the picture of a place. You see a place, and then that place remembers you of someone, another person, for example, right? Or you see, for example, a monk. You see a monk, and then you remember some Dhamma point. So that Dhamma point, which is not the monk, is an object that came to your mind. It's manodvara vitti will take it, but it's connected with what you saw, right? So things that we see, we experience with the 5 senses, sometimes bring other objects. Our mind is doing that very quickly. You see something, you remember something else connected to it. And even that object may bring about another one and another one, right? Different vittis, yes, different vittis. Different vittis. So, ditta vasena is a direct experience based on what you saw. Ditta sambandha vasena is another object based on what you saw. Okay? So, this is connected to something experienced with the 5 senses. Okay? Just something connected to that. Not directly what you experienced, but something connected to that. Okay. Sutta vasena. Sutta is like hearing, right? Sutta. So, but hearing is here. Hearing, all the 5 senses are here, ditta. Don't think that this is only seeing, this is only hearing. Ditta is all the 5 senses are included here. All the 5 senses are included here. 5 senses, okay? You understand when I say 5 senses, no? 5 senses, but sutta vasena is something that, for example, you hear about or you read about, and that what you hear or what you have seen remembers you of something, or you think about something that you have not experienced with the 5 senses. Okay? I imagine, for example, you read about snow, or in Laos, you read about the ocean. You have never seen the ocean, but you read about the ocean. Okay? And you read about boats and an island somewhere, and no picture. Just read about it. Even for example, all the objects you cannot experience with the 5 senses. For example, even think of objects, for example, we have, among the rupas, or cetasikas are a good object, good example. Someone tells you about these cetasikas, someone tells you about chittas, and then you may take them as object. You understand? It's not something you have directly experienced with the 5 senses. Even you cannot experience that with the 5 senses. Nibbana itself, for example. It's another thing. Of course, you will not immediately take Nibbana, you take a concept of Nibbana, but you reach Nibbana by listening to it, listening about it, right? Unless Pacceka Buddha or Sammasam Buddhas, no? They can do it by themselves, right? So these depend on hearing or listening. These are things that you do not experience with the five senses, okay? So these are Sambandha Vasena. These are, for example, Manodwara Vittis that arise based on things that you, for example, things one heard about, or we could say also read about. You have read about something. You have read about the Cetasikas, and then your mind may take them as object based on what you read. Or you read about the snow that you have never experienced snow, you have never seen snow. But your mind can think of that either as a concept or sometimes as an object itself. Okay? Sutta Sambandha will be connected to that. So you hear about something, and then that object will appear, and then something connected to that will be Sutta Sambandha Vasena. So you see, is like one object brings another object in the mind stream. Okay? The mind stream, actually the Bhavangas, if you think of the flow of Bhavangas, they are always, it's as if the Bhavanga, even though Bhavanga has its own object, right? Kama, Kama Nimitta, Gati Nimitta. The Bhavanga is always inclining to some other object, some new experience. The Bhavanga is not just trying to stay with the Kama, Kama Nimitta, Gati Nimitta. That's its object, but Manasikara in the Bhavanga, you know, the Cetasika Manasikara, remember? Manasikara in the Bhavanga creates this kind of like a buzz. You know buzz? Maybe you don't know this word. It's a little bit like some type of, not agitation like Uddhacha. There's no Uddhacha in the Bhavanga, but it's like a desire for objects. The mind is always inclining to new objects. So this is why our mind is always taking new objects. So even in the Bhavanga mind stream, there is always this inclination towards some new experience, whether of the senses or whether of just pure mental experience. So when you see one object, immediately that Bhavanga mind stream will stop, and we will start taking objects connected to that. So you will have this like a ripple effect. A ripple effect, you know? When you drop something in water, the ripples are the waves, the little waves, and they go like this, many. So because of one object, many other objects and many VTs taking many things occur. And then you start making connections between things, no? So in this way, very fast. So the mind always doing that, very actively, taking and looking for objects. So these four. Then some other Manodwara Vittis may occur, for example, due to someone asking you a question. Someone asks you a question, and then that makes you think about something. That something is not what you heard, but it makes you think about something. No? So questions, for example, may bring objects in your mind. Or if you're just contemplating about things, thinking about things yourself, could bring about new objects in your mind. During Vipassana, objects come. And for example, in the Samadhi or Abhiññana, for example, in the Abhiññana you can see, for example, Dibachako, right? Abhiññana, if you develop Dibachako Abhiññana, you're able to take present objects with the Manodwara Vacha. Just Manodwara Vitti. Taking present objects. And rupa objects, no? Rupa Ramanas. Objects may manifest by deity. Some devas, sometimes they can cause some objects for you to see, for example, dreams, things like that. There are some occasions where
devas can, to some extent, kind of influence your mind by putting objects in your mind. Kamma also, because of kamma, you may have objects coming to you. For example, near death, before death, some object will come to your mind. That's because of kamma. So there's many reasons why objects come. So we could say these four are just the main ones, but there's many reasons we could say. So this is the Anubandhaka and Suddha Manodvaraviti. Now, Appanavitis. Okay. Okay. So Appanavitis, here, to remember the Appanavitis, think of the chittas. Think of the chittas we learned. When we reach the Appana, is the Rupa Vachara chittas, right? So the first Appana chitta that comes to your mind is first jhana, right? Okay. So the first Appana viti, we could say is the jhana viti. Okay? Jhana viti. This is a way to remember all these Appana vitis. The first is the jhana viti. Okay. Then you have the second jhana. It's also jhana viti. Third jhana. Fourth jhana. Fifth jhana is also a jhana viti, but based on the fifth jhana, you can do abhinya, right? If you develop, it's possible to develop abhinya. That's the second type of appana vitis. Abhinya vitis. Jhana vitis, abhinya vitis. Okay, what comes after abhinya? You have arupa vachara jhanas, right? They are also jhana vitis. And then, after you develop jhanas, then, okay, let's say the higher than that is magga viti, right? That's the next viti. Magga viti. Magga viti. What comes after magga? Pala, yes. Now, pala chitta is in the magga viti, right? If you remember, right? So we cannot say that pala viti is a viti with the palachitta, because palachitta is also in the magga viti. You understand? So you have to say pala samapati, yes. Pala samapati viti. Okay, pala samapati viti. Okay, let's say you have magga and pala, sotapanna. Then after that you have sakadagami, anagami. What becomes available for anagami? Yes, Nirodha Samapati. So that's the fifth. Nirodha Samapati Viti. This is also Samapati, okay? So these are the 5 Appana Vitis, you see? Just remember them like this in this order, and you will not forget them. Jhanas, and then Abhinyas, and then Magapala, and then Nirodha. Okay? 5 appana vitis. So appana vitis are vitis that have at least one appana javana, appana chitta, right? At least one appana chitta. So what are the appana chittas? Appana chittas. What are the appana chittas? Appana. Let's say appana javanas, actually. This is what we are interested here now. Appana javanas. What are the appana javanas? No. Appana javanas. What are these appana javanas? The chittas. Yes, rupa vachara kusala chitta. We have 5 rupa vachara kusala chitta. We have 5 Rupa Vachara Kiriya Chitta. And then we have 4 Rupa Vachara Kusala Chitta, 4 Arupa Vachara Kiriya Chitta. And then we have Maggas, 4 Magga Chittas, 4 Pala Chittas. Okay. So these are Appana Javanas. Huh? 28, 30, huh? 10, 18, 22, 26. 26 for Arupa. I forgot another Arupa, right? For Arupa, here, no? Yeah. For Arupa. These are the 26 Appana Javanas, right? We have 29 Kama, 26 Appana, 26 Appana Javanas, but we could divide them in another way. Appana Javanas can be Jhana Javanas, Jhana Javanas, Jhana Javanas, yes, Jhana Javanas, or you could say Abhinya is another Appana. Abhinya is another Abhinya Javanas. And then we have Magga and Pala. Yes, Magga and Pala. Magga Javanas and Pala Javanas. You don't have Nirodha Samapatti Javanas, right? So here you have 5, here you have 4, you see? Yes. Only 4. Jhana, Javana, Abhinya, Javana, Magga or Pala Javanas. Appana Javanas. Okay, what is the basic Appana Viti? Okay, huh? Yes, let's say the first jhana. Remember? Basic Viti, okay. We come from Bhavangas. This Bhavanga you don't need to write, actually. No, actually you should write. Actually, it's better, no? We were writing at least. Okay, Bhavanga. Now let's say this is just the generic jhana viti. Generic jhana viti, okay? Generic jhana viti. Bhavanga. And then we have the vibration of Bhavanga. Bhavanga stops. Manodwara vitis. They are all Manodwara vitis, right? And then, remember we have 7 javanas? Remember the 7 javanas? If we put the strength of the javanas, strength of the 7 javanas, okay? Strength of the 7 javanas. If we had like a chart like this, if you had to imagine, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. So the first javana, yes, Parikama will be here, you see? First javana. Yeah. Then the next javana is stronger than this one, over here. The third will be stronger yet. The fourth will be even stronger, you see? This is the strength of the javanas, the strength of the chittas, right? Remember in the javanas there is the asevana pachya, right? Asevana, remember this? Asevana pachya. So the javana becomes stronger. And then the fifth, this is the nature of the viti, is that it must fall down, you see? So the fifth javana will be weaker than the fourth. And then the sixth will be even weaker than the third, you see, over here. And then the seventh will be weaker than the second. So you have more or less this strength, you see? Here, here. So this is the difference in strength. So the strength goes up. Around the fourth javana it is the strongest, and then it falls down. Okay? Now, when you have an Appana Viti, Appana Chitta is higher, right? Stronger. So it can only arise after the fourth or the third. It cannot arise, for example, after the seventh. these are already too weak to bring about the appana. So if a person is very quick, he can have the third and then the appana. Or the normal person will have the fourth and then the appana. So these javanas are here, for example. Javana 1, Javana 2, Javana 3, Javana 4. This would be the strongest. And then the appana javana arise. Appana javana arise. 4. Yes. 4 javanas. Okay? Only this or this can bring about the appana. These 4? These 4 javanas, for appana chittas to arise, these javanas over here, they must be jnana, sampayutta, kusala or kirya. Kusala or kirya, kama javanas. Kama javanas, not appana javanas, kama javanas, must be kusala or kirya, and they must be jnana sampayutta. Jnana vipayutta is not strong enough to lead to the appana. Little hot, no? Yeah, turn it on. Okay? They must be jnana sampayutta. Jnana sampayutta in this viti. So this, for example, if you have an appana javana here, then someone may ask a question, okay, what is the nature of these chittas, or which chittas can happen over here, you see? You have to say jnana sampayutta, kusala or kirya. Okay? Now these 4 javanas, they have other names. We can give them special names, right? The first javana is parikama, remember? PK, parikama. Parikama. In English, you can say like a preparation. Preparation, yes. Parikama. The second, let's put them numbers here. Second, third, fourth. So this is the first. Now the second, upachara, right? The symbol we use is U. Upachara. This is access in English, upachara. The third, upachara, nu, anuloma. Yes, in English, conformity, conformity. And then number 4, go. Remember go? Go. Gotrabu. Gotrabu. In English, change of lineage. Change of lineage. Yes, this is an E. Lineage, yeah. Okay, parikama, upachara, nuloma, gotrabu. Okay, parikama. There is some explanation about what happened in these chittas. Basically, the strength is increasing. The strength is increasing in order to lead to the appana. So that's one important thing that is happening. The parikama, it says that it strengthens the 5 faculties. It strengthens the 5 faculties. Remember the 5 faculties? Yes. Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Yes. The 5 spiritual faculties. So in this chitta, it says that this chitta helps the appana, helps the arising of the appana by strengthening the 5 faculties. The second is a chitta that is in vicinity. You know, vicinity is like the neighborhood. Another word we may use, neighborhood. Yes, vicinity, or we say access. It's another word. So it also helps. It's this chitta over here. See, It helps the arising of the next Javana. Being over here, just its mere existence, its mere presence helps the arising of the Javana. So this is called Upachara. Will be the second chitta. Now the third chitta, Anuloma, it's also helping it. So see, even stronger now, the third chitta. If the person is Tikapanya, remember Tikapanya, he can have the Apana after this third chitta. Right? So this third chitta in Amandapanya will be Anuloma. So this is, in English we say Anuloma is in conformity. It's in conformity with the Viti. It's in conformity with the previous chitta. It's in conformity with the Apana Javana. Okay, so it helps the arising of the Apana Javana in this way. And then Gotrabhu. Okay, later. Gotrabhu. So another thing that Anuloma does, it suppresses or removes. Suppresses or removes obstructions. For example, hindrances. Anuloma also strongly remove any hindrances that remains in the chitta, in the mind. Okay? And then Gotrabhu changes the lineage, right? Gotrabhu? Gotrabhu does two things. Either it changes the lineage or it breaks the lineage, right? So the lineage we have, either it changes the lineage or it breaks the lineage. It changes in the Janavitis, it changes, or Abhinyaviti as well. It changes the lineage from Kamavachara to Mahagata. Yes, you could say to Rupavachara, but also to Arupavachara. So you could just say to Mahagata. Yes, then we say it breaks. Not like it changes to Lokuttara, okay. Yes, I understand what you mean. But in the Magaviti, we say it breaks the Puttujana lineage.
Break because cannot come back.
Yes, because it doesn't return. So this one changes and this one breaks. Breaks because it doesn't return, right? Puttujana to Arya. No, very small over there, no? Gotrabhu Chitta changes from Kamavachara to Mahagata. Yes. I think we could say also from Kamavachara to Lokuttara, right? But in the Magga, we say it breaks the lineage of Puttujana to Arya.
The English word if we say change, so we can turn back, no? Can return.
Yeah, change, we are using in this case changes and then it later comes back. So it brings it up, changes, because the mind is normally in Kamavachara minds, right? Kamavachara minds. For example, in the Rupavachara, they have Jana as Bhavanga, right? So that's Arupavachara. But the Viti is with the Kamavachara Chittas. And then it leads to the Rupavachara or Arupavachara, so Mahagata. Right? Then in the Magaviti, in the first Magaviti, it breaks the Puttujana state. Brings about the Arya state. So that's another Gotrabhu. And then in the other Vitis, in the other Magavitis, it will be Vodana, not Gotrabhu. Vodana.
Become Arinya and then have other name.
Yes.
Vodana.
Only the Sotapati Maga has Gotrabhu. The other Maggas have Vodana instead of Gotrabhu. Okay? So this is the Gotrabhu Chitta. Then we have the Apana Javana. And the Apana Javanas, they may last for a long time. You may have many Apana Javanas. Then let's say this is the last Apana Javana and Bhavanga. You cannot have Tadaramana in this Viti. Remember? Cannot. So this is the basic Viti for Janas, for the Janas, okay? So now, let's discuss the Viti Chitta of the first Jana. So here it's important to remember the two Pugalas. Remember two Pugalas?
Yes.
What are the two Pugalas in this case? Okay, another two Pugalas. Yes. Manda and Tikka, yes. So 5 types of Apavana Vitis. Yes. Okay. So then there is two types of Pugalas, two types of beings. They are all Tihetukas. That's important to remember. If you have Apanaviti, it must be a Tihetuka Bhavanga. Remember? As human beings, we can have Ahetuka, Dvihetuka, or Tihetukas. Only Tihetukas can have Apanavitis. This is why to attain the Jhana, to attain Maggaphala, you must have Tihetuka. You must have the Amoha Chetasika in your Bhavanga. Okay? Usually, people who are interested in Dhamma, who understand Dhamma, who are inclined towards Dhamma, they usually have a Tihetuka Bhavanga. People without the wisdom in the Bhavanga, they may not understand much, they may not incline much towards these things. Okay? So you should not worry whether your Bhavanga has Moha or Amoha or not. Yeah, don't. Some monks are worried about these things, if their meditation is not improving, things like that. So don't worry about that. If you're interested in Dhamma, you probably have the Amoha. Okay? So then we have two Pugalas here that will affect the Vitis, no? Two individuals, we could say in English. Yes. Two individuals, of course, there's many classifications of Pugala, but here what we mean is the Tikka is like fast, right? Tikka Panya or Tikka Bhinya. You know, there is Tikka, then there is Kippa. Actually, two words we can use, but I think the standard we use was Kippa. Kippa Bhinya. Kippa Bhinya or Tikka Panya. Yeah, it's the same. Tikka Panya, it means you are a little sharper. The wisdom is a little faster, okay? A little faster wisdom. Kippa Bhinya or Tikka Panya, Kippa Bhinya and Dandha Bhinya. Dandha Abhinya. Abhinya here is not the supernatural powers, okay? Remember, this came up in our class recently, right? What is Patipada and what is Abhinya, right? Remember? After the hindrances are removed, then it's Abhinya. The meditation. Remember this? Yeah, Dandabhinya. We can also call Dandapanya. I think it was Dandapanya. Dandapanya. Usually Panya, right? But if it's an individual, I think it will be short. Panya. There's another word which I think was Manda, right? Manda? Mandapanya, I think. Mandapanya, no? You have in the book? Mandapanya? Okay, so Kippa Bhinya is a little faster. He's a little sharper, his faculties, okay? Due to past practice or the merits he has and so on. Kippa Bhinya or Dandabhinya. So this will affect the Viti. He may not have Parikamma, that Chitta Parikamma. So let's say the Viti, for example, the first Jhana Viti. First jhana viti, for example. First jhana viti. If we have a kippa binya, kippa, or let's put manda first. Usually we draw the manda, danda binya first. Danda and kippa. Okay. Danda binya. Remember we did bhavanga and then nadai. This is a manodwara viti, manodwara vajana. Now the 7 javanas, we have parikama, PK. Remember the symbols, okay? PK, upachara, anuloma, removing the hindrances, and then gotrabhu, bringing the lineage from kamavachara to rupavachara, to mahagata. In this case, it's rupavachara. And then we have the apana javana, which will be of the first jhana. Now the apana javanas will run not only 7 javanas. These apana vitis, once you bring it, it can remain for a long time. So you may have many apana javanas here of the first jhana. Yes, many. And again it falls into bhavanga. Comes back. Apana? 26, yes. Here if it's first jhana, then I'm talking about Rupa Vachara first jhana. Has Kusala Orchidea, so there is 2 chittas over there. Yeah, Kusala Orchidea. Okay? So this would be the Viti, how the process happens in the mind. If it's Kippa, he will not have Parikama, so it will be just 1 chitta shorter, you see? Ma, no Parikama, unugo, and then the apana javana. Apana javana and bhavanga. Okay? So this is a little shorter. You are able to enter the apana with only 3 chittas as preparation. Okay? So this one, okay, let me give you this. This information I think is not very important. But these chittas, sometimes they can be called parikama, all of them parikama. You could call them all parikama. You could call them all upachara. Okay? You can call them all anuloma. But you cannot call them gotrabhu. Okay? So this information is not very important, but if you're reading later commentaries, Tipitaka, sometimes they use Gotrabhu. For example, sometimes they may talk about these chittas, they may talk as everything as parikama. You understand? Yeah. Then you may get confused. So it's good to know that all these 4 chittas sometimes can be called parikama. They can all be called all upachara, and they can all be called anuloma. But only this chitta can be called gotrabhu. Okay? Just for you to be clear about the nomenclature, the names for things. Nomenclature. Yes. Okay? Nomenclature. Nomenclature. Nomenclature, you can check on the dictionary, it's a good word. Advanced word, maybe. Nomenclature. So, but the standard is parikama, upachara, anuloma, gotrabhu, each one with their names. So that's what we're following as a standard, okay? Don't put them all as upachara, all as anuloma, okay? In the Palavitis, yes, but okay? So this is like extra information, like an option. Okay. So coming back to our first jhana, this was danda and this was kippa. Okay? So this chitta over here is the one that doesn't arise. You don't remove the gotrabhu. No, gotrabhu is here, you see? Just a previous javana is doing the gotrabhu, you see? Doing this Gotrabhu function. Okay? Anuloma, Upachara. So the one that is removed in the Kipa Bhinya is the Parikama, the first one. First function. Okay? So it's a little faster. A little faster. The second person is faster. Is his mind, his thinking, his understanding is very fast, you know? Some people are sharper, right?
Maybe he already arranged everything.
Arrange everything?
For journey.
I only heard about the one who can attain the jhana and attain the magga, but can not yet find the book say about practice the jhana, not it to make upanisaya. But
Sorry?
when they practice the magga,
Yes.
it
More Upanisaya.
more upanisaya.
More Upanisaya, right? Yes. Even to practice the jhana, we need Upanisaya, right? Jhana, you can only attain if you are Tihetuka. So that's already merit you have done in the past, understanding about Kamma. And only if you have very powerful effort, you practice for a long time usually. So you need very good qualities. You cannot be, for example, a person, you have to remove those gross bad qualities from your mind. You should be respectful, you cannot be envious, you cannot be stingy. So these things you're not completely removing from the mind, as in Magga, but you have to suppress from your mind. So it's a person who has already good quality, very good qualities. And then the process of meditation that leads to the jhana already removes the hindrances. So the anger, the laziness, the lust should be suppressed during this process. This is just immediately before the apana arises. Actually, when you're developing, remember, you start developing, and then you have parikamma samadhi, upachara samadhi, right? When you reach upachara samadhi, then the hindrances are pretty much suppressed. And then your mind is able to take patibhaga nimitta as object. So at that time, the hindrances, for the most part, are suppressed. But still, in the viti that arises later, there is still this suppression. So this suppression of hindrances keeps going. Even when you attain the higher jhanas, you are still, in a way, suppressing hindrances. So the hindrances are not completely 100% suppressed in the when you just reach upachara samadhi. That's like the most of them are suppressed. But the process of suppression in a more subtle sense, in a deeper sense, goes on and on and on when you're developing the first jhana, the second, the third, the fourth, even the arupa jhanas and so on. So they are being suppressed. It's like a continuous process. Okay, this is the first jhana viti. Now, okay. So we have among the Mahagata vitis, we have 9 vitis. So the first jhana, it will be first jhana viti, because the appana is of the first jhana, right? If the appana is of the second jhana, it's a second jhana viti. Dutiya jhana viti. Okay? But the viti is the same. So if I draw the second jhana viti, the only thing is that the appana is of the second jhana. There won't be vitaka. Finish. That's the only difference. So you can say that the viti is the same for the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth jhana, and for the 4 arupa vachara. So altogether you have 9 mahagata vitis. Okay? 9 mahagata vitis. But there are 2 pugalas. So 18 mahagata vitis. Right? Then there is another difference in the Mahagata Vittis, another variation, which is the Adhikammika, Adhikammika Vitti, no, not like in the Vinaya, Adhikammika Vitti and Samapajana Vitti. Yeah. Adhikammika Vitti is, let's say, when you're developing for the first time. When you attain the first jhana for the first time, it will be an Adhikammika Vitti for sure. Adhikammika Vitti only has one appana. So you will have Bhavanga, Chalana Upacheda, Manodwara Vajana. And then you will have Parikama, let's say if you are Danda, right? Danda. And here we have Kipa. So Parikama, Upachara, Anuloma, Gotrabhu, and Appana Javana, for example, and then Bhavanga, immediately. Only one Appana. This is the Adhikammika. First time you attain it. So the first time you attain jhana, you cannot remain in the jhana. Okay? Only one mind moment.
Then it
Fall down. Yes. So this will happen, Adhikammika. Then what you happen is you keep paying attention to your object, and then again. What happened? He's recording, I know. Then you keep paying attention to your object, and again the Vitti will arise, and then there will be more chittas. And then you will fall down again. Then you again attain it, and it will last longer. So it's like something that you need to develop, to strengthen. Okay? So this is why we talk about the jhana mastery. Remember? Vasibhava is the mastery of the jhana. You may attain the first jhana, but not master it. Okay? So you need to attain it many times and remain in the jhana until you master it. It becomes like very easy for you to remain in the jhana. Okay? So Adhikammika Vitti is the first time you attain. This one will be the same, but there won't be Parikama. Okay? That's the only difference. No Parikama. Samapajana, you will have the same Vitti, you see, but maybe I'll do it like this and we can go a little faster. It's the same Vitti, but the appanas will be many. Yes, will be many appanas, okay? So it's the same. Here also the Parikama also may not arise with the Kipa, so you have four Vittis, you see? Imagine this is first jhana. Yes. So you have Mahagata Vittis, you have the 9 jhana Vittis, 9 jhana Vittis, multiplied by 2 Pugalas, right? Multiplied by these Adhikammika is long, Bante? Do you know? Adhikammika or Samapajana. Adi is beginning, no? Adi, beginning. Okay? Adi or Samapajana. So that's 1836. And then there is one more, which, what was it? Kusala or Kiriya. Kusala or Kiriya, yes. So you may have also Kusala or Kiriya. So again, multiplied by 2. So altogether, 72. 9, 18, 36, 72. 72 Mahagata Vittis. Okay? We learned. 72 Mahagata Vittis. How many Panchadwarika Vittis? 75. How many Mahagata Vittis? 72, yes.
Which VT?
Hmm?
Much more.
The
The most.
most?
The most VT. Which one? Manu.
Manodhara Viti has more.
Manu, yes.
Manodhara Viti, yes.
Can take all,
Yes.
can take all object.
Has, because you see just Mahagata 72, and then we have Magga, Abhinya Viti, Magga Viti, Phala Viti, and Nirodha Samapatti Viti.
So all of them in this Manu.
These are all Manodhara Vitis, yes. You see? With the Manodhara Vajana, see? Manodhara Vajana, Manodhara Viti. These powerful chittas can only arise in the Manodhara. Okay, so attain the first jhana, these are the Vitis. So how many first jhana Vitis, for example? Forget Magapala, just Mahagata. How many first jhana Mahagata? I cannot hear you. One question? Okay. Vasibhava? Dantha? Observe jhana. Practice, develop. Enter, enter, yes, yes. Yes. If they if they master the jhana, I don't know. For the danda, if he practices a lot that jhana, then he will not have parikama. I don't know about that. We didn't discuss. Do you know, Bhante? I don't know about this. We didn't discuss, I think, in class. I don't know if you can change. Yeah, usually the nature of the pugala cannot change, right, Bhante, in one life, I think. Yes, I'm not sure also. Yes, I don't know. So, but I did hear one information that when some individuals are doing abhinya, if they are doing abhinya, sometimes they may have less javanas. Later we'll discuss. They may have less javanas. So that means that not all the time they have the same number of javanas. So there may be some variation. So it seems like it could be possible to have less javanas. But specifically about this point, we didn't discuss. But later we discuss about the abhinya, and then you will see there is some possibility of having less javanas. Okay, so if you see first jhana, for example, first jhana vitis, Mahagata vitis, you have first jhana. To pugala, you have 2 vitis. And then adi or samapajana, you have 4 vitis. Kusala or kirya, 8 vitis. So 8 first jhana vitis, you could say, for Mahagata, right? 8 first jhana. Okay, next step. Mahagata jhana vitis. Okay, reviewing process. Okay, so after you attain the jhana, after the jhana, remember you had the apana javanas, you came from the jhana, you stayed in the jhana, less apana javana and bhavangas. So after emerging, coming out from the jhana, you have the reviewing vitis. What you do is in the jhana, you cannot contemplate about the jhana. In the jhana. In the jhana, you're just experiencing your patibhaga nimitta as object all the time. Not pachupanna, because it could be panyati. Panyati is kalamuttaka. Remember? Not pachupanna, not past, not future. Kalamuttaka. Remember? Yes, panyati. So when you emerge from the jhana, then you can, with the manodvara viti, you can reflect. Reflect means you pay attention to what happened. You pay attention to those dhammas. You pay attention especially to the jhana factors. Okay? To identify the experience you had, to confirm the experience you had. So you have reflection, paccavekkanas. Paccavekkanas. These are the paccavekkanas, reflections, like reflections. Reflections. Reflection. It's like a reflection, paccavekana. So the reflecting viti, paccavekana viti, will take, for example, one of the chittasikas as object. Remember? So what viti you think will be? It's a manodvara viti for sure. You have chalana upacheda. It's a manodvara viti for sure. Cannot be panchadvara viti. Then we'll have 7 javanas here. Now it's not an appana viti. Not an appana viti. It's not about entering jhana anymore. It's about reflecting on the chittasikas that occurred in that jhana. Reflecting about the sankharas of that jhana sometimes, for example, later. So your object is, for example, vitaka. Let's say your object is vitaka from the first jhana. Emerging from the first jhana, you will reflect on vitaka, because vitaka is a jhananga, right? Jhananga. Jhananga. Okay? So, which viti arise? Taking vitaka as object. Here. No. Where is it? Here. Viti. Manodvara viti. Apana or kama? Kama javanas. Yes. Now 17 chittakana or less than 17 chittakana? Less than 17 chittakana. With tadaramana or without tadaramana? Without tadaramana. Because tadaramana only takes kamavachara object, and this vitaka can be kamavachara object, right? It can be. But the vitaka in the rupavachara chittas, mahagata chittas, only rupavachara, it's not a kamavachara object, so you cannot have the tadaramana, right? So it must be avibhuta. Must be avibhuta. This reflecting knowledge must be avibhuta. So you have manodvara vajana, you have 7 javanas and no tadaramana, bhavanga. Why kamavachara? Vitaka? This vitaka is the vitaka in the apana. Do you understand? In this apana javana, there is vitaka. Right? This is the apana viti. Apana viti. After the apana viti, you reflect on the jhana factors. Okay? You reflect, you do paccavekana on the jhanangas. Past jhanangas. You understand what happened? Yes. You had this experience of the jhana. This is the apana viti. And on this apana, let's say there was vitaka. This vitaka is rupavachara object. Right? Rupavachara dhamma. So when you do the paccavekana, you're taking this vitaka as object. It's a rupavachara object and it's past, chittasika. So you will have a manodvara viti, you see, that doesn't have a tadaramana. Okay? Did you follow? Do you understand? Yes. Yes. The object must be Kamavachara for it to have Tadaramana.
This viti happen the person who attained jhana.
Person who attained jhana,
Jhana and then they come out.
came out of the jhana, now he will pay attention to the jhana factors of that jhana. That jhana has already passed away. All the chittas have vanished. So it's past. Past chittasikas now he will pay attention to. So now his vitis are kamavachara vitis. Not apana vitis, but he's paying attention to the vitaka in that apana chitta, past. Do you understand this point? Do you understand this point? This viti, this kamavachara viti, is taking this vitaka in this apana javana as object. Not a normal vitaka, yes. It's a rupa vachara vitaka. Yeah, here. Here. Kamavachara vitis. You see? For example, this one, taking present object you have with Tadaramana or not. This one also with Tadaramana or not, you see? Huh? Less?
Less 17 chitta.
Less than 17 chittakana.
That number like should be this way.
Why?
The arrow.
Yeah, arrow should be like this, right? Yeah, sorry, my mistakes. Less than this, yes, it's correct. Less than 17 chittakana. Here as well, you see? Here should be like this. Less than 17 chittakana, you have with Tadaramana or without Tadaramana. You see, Vibhuta or Avibhuta. So if it's a Rupa Vachara Vitaka, you cannot have the Tadaramana. So it will be Avibhuta. So there is just one possibility of Viti. Okay, no? Okay. So then you take Vitaka, you can take Vichara, Piti, Sukha, Ekagata, all the jhana factors you take, and you investigate that jhana. Okay? This is the normal procedure after the jhana. Okay? You reflect on it. So, this is it.
How about when they if the
Here.
if the order reflects others jhana?
No. You can like, you mean like abhinya, taking other person's mind as object?
Only
Something like that only, yes. Yeah, you don't reflect on another person's jhana, I think.
why they might not have opinion but cannot like looking to mind of other sometimes
I think Deva can have abhinya, no? Some Deva don't have.
but they can know.
They can know, right?
That is nature.
I think is there, you know, there is a 10 causes for abhinya. It's not the abhinya you develop is one, but there is some people who have some abhinya to some extent, but it's not abhinyana chitta, but they can have due to kamma, or due to just their nature of their existences like that. For example, the devas, they can see far away. For example, like with the bachaku, even if they don't develop. You know? It's kind of the nature of their birth. Yeah, that type of existence, so to say. So they have, there are different, if I remember, it was 10 causes for these abilities. Some people, due to kamma, they may be able to see. Some people, even they don't develop jhanas, they may be able to see beings, for example. They may be able to see devas, see petas, due to kamma. Not just because of abhinya, okay?
I have heard
Some people, even maybe, I think everywhere, there are some people who can see these beings. Some people, maybe a little more, who had maybe some merit or due to some karma, they are able to see. Children are maybe sometimes more often able to see.
One children,
Mm.
everywhere he can see Amanusa.
He can see Amanusa, no? Yeah. So children can sometimes. Not everyone, but sometimes they can. Then as you grow older, maybe more kilesas arise and so on, and yes, and you disappear. And especially if you start having doubts. Nowadays, most people, if your child sees things, usually they would discourage. No, don't pay attention. This is not good. They think maybe he's crazy or something. Could also be like that. So eventually, usually people lose these things, unless they purposely maintain it and develop it. No? Okay, so these are the Paccavekkhana Vittis. And we'll stop over here. I'll give you a question for you to think. And next class we do Abhinya Vittis, and Magga Vittis, and Palasamapatti Vittis, Nirodha Samapatti Vittis. Okay, I'll give you a question.